In this section, we'll be covering shot placement on small to medium-sized game, 10 to 500 pounds, and then the larger game, 500 and up. Please remember, this information can be found in your SAAM manual, so you can always refer back to that for reference. We will also look at suitable choices of rifles and calibers. Next will be an examination of the anatomy of the species, and we will look at the various shot placement options. Finally, we will review field footage, where you will be able to interact and choose where to place the shot with the aid of a laser pointer. Before we move on to individual species, let's take a look at the potential target areas of game species. These are referred to as the vital for life organs. First, there's the brain, the computer of each animal. The brain is often the target of choice on several of these species, such as elephant, hippo, and crocodile. But the last target of choice for mountain or plains game species. The heart-lungs are the primary target of choice on non-dangerous game species. A shot to these organs will disrupt blood and oxygen flow to the brain, and in most cases will result in almost certain death. The spinal cord is the wire that connects the brain to the rest of the body. A direct hit to the spine will immobilize any game, but it is never the primary target on any hunt. Instead, it is usually used as a backup shot, which is very important to know where that is located on each of your species, regardless of dangerous or non-dangerous. Before moving on to each species, we want to emphasize the importance of both your ability to make a rapid and accurate second and third shots in the right areas, and allowing your guide or PH to make backup shots. You're about to see videos of several trophies lost to poor shooting ability on first and second shots, all of which could have been prevented. First, let's look at shot placement for the small to medium game species, 10 to 500 pounds. These species range from the tiny dik-dik and dikers to the North American pronghorn, deer species, and sheep, and up to a 400 or 500 pound gemsbuck. This is a broad range of game, and it would be impossible to take the in-depth look at each species separately. The hunting methods for most of these species are chance encounters or spot and stalk techniques. For the vast majority of hunting situations for these species, a scope-sighted bolt-action rifle between .270 to .338 in caliber is a sound choice. With the exception of the tiniest antelope, a hunting bullet that shoots well through your gun, usually in the 130 to 140 grain in the .270, all the way up to the 250 grain in the .338, is the right choice for this classification of game. Small to medium plains game varies greatly in many physical characteristics, including weight, height, depth of body, and toughness. However, the vital areas of each species, from the tiny gricebuck all the way to the largest Inyala bull, lies forward in the chest cavity, which will be your preferred target. Let's take a look at several of these species in this category, starting with the gricebuck. On all of the tiny antelope, a shoulder shot from a large caliber will often result in severe cape damage. It's best to place your shot well behind the front leg, behind the shoulder area, as this shot will quickly take the animal with minimum cape damage. Animals in this class are tough and require precise shot placement to prevent a difficult follow-up. For the broadside heart-lung shot, follow the front leg 1/3 of the way up the body, from the center of the shoulder to the back edge of the shoulder. A shot in this area would generally drop this category on the spot. Warthog and hogs. These are tough animals, with a big boar weighing in at about 250 pounds. The barrel shape of a big trophy boar together with the long mane hairs, which can cover the top of the shoulders, can make identification of the heart-lung area difficult. To place a side heart-lung shot, use the front leg as a reference. Then come up the front leg to 1/3 of the body, no higher than below the midpoint. Due to the toughness of these animals, a well-placed shot may not knock them off their feet, but the follow-up should be short if a well-constructed bullet is used. Despite his odd shape, the hartebeest is one of the fastest of all African antelope. From the side-on position, the unusual shoulder hump of this antelope often results in the hunter shooting too high. For a quick killing shot into the heart-lung area, the shot should be 1/3 up the body to no higher than the animal's midline. Again, follow the back edge of the front leg in the normal broadside position. On our next classification of game are the large animals, weighing in excess of 500 pounds. While most of these animals can be encountered at close range in dense bush, it would be advisable for the hunter to have a rifle capable of making the far more normal shot of between 100 and 300 yards. A well-scoped bolt-action rifle in calibers from 300 mag to 375 is ideal for this classification of game. These include some of the most sought-after non-dangerous game in the world. Once again, follow the back edge of the front leg 1/3 up into the body to make the classic heart-lung shot. Even a perfect shot on these guys will rarely bring them down in their tracks, but a short walk will usually lead you to your beautiful prize. However, when wounded, any of these guys can be potentially dangerous and should always be approached cautiously. These extremely deep-chested animals often cause hunters to aim high. For this shot, follow the front leg 1/3, but no more than halfway up the body, between the center of the shoulder to just behind the back of the shoulder area. Many experienced safari hunters agree that these species are Africa's toughest pound for pound. We would suggest a caliber in the 338 to 375 for species in this grouping. The hunt for these animals are some of the most underrated hunts to be found. Their well-muscled frames make shot placement critical. A poorly placed shot will guarantee you a long follow-up, costing precious time on your safari. To place your shot, come up the front leg center line and place your bullet somewhere between 1/3 to just below halfway up the body. In other words, center shoulder to break them down. One final thought for hunting these very large trophies is the subject of bullet construction. Shooting these large 500-pound to 1,500-pound trophies absolutely requires well-constructed bullets. A good guide for this would be, if you would shoot a buffalo with it, it'll work just fine for these guys.